talking to the investors who have found interest in whatever you said you are, but they will really understand you more from what you speak today. So some of the ground rules I will tell you. We have exactly 5 minutes for each of you. I will alert a few seconds before and you have to wrap it up. Maybe 30 seconds before I will give a hint so that in another 30 seconds you should wrap it up, because we are having a neck to neck sessions throughout the day. So I don't want to get into some other session, which is to follow our session. That is rule number one. Second is, you please feel free to share your screen, then talk on it, address to the investors. And there is no Q&A planned because we don't have that possibility for the paucity of time. So no Q&A, you pitch, you make your best pitch. The investors who have selected you will take note and let us know what next step they would want to take it with you. That is on the startup side. Investors, my request is to please take note of whatever you hear, and if you make a decision, please let us know through the same platform through which actually you have shortlisted them. So there is a big feedback pop-up screen that will come. You can key in your comments, you can key your choices, and our team will follow up after this session as to what you want to do. Some of you may have shortlisted startups in other domains, and we have a marathon start pitching sessions from this evening onwards. So one after the other, our team will get in touch with you. So that said, today's session, I have actually invited Krishnan Neelakantan from Ankur Capital, a close friend. Ankur is an early stage fund with a lot of interest in food and agri, social impact, education sectors. So I requested Krishnan to talk about a few minutes about how he sees the investments that are happening in food and agri and what is his view about the current situation. For 5-6 minutes, Krishnan, if you can talk about and address all of us, then we will start the pitching session. Over to you, Krishnan. Thank you very much for joining us. You are on mute, Krishnan.
Can you hear me now? Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Srinivasu, for that kind introduction, and for Tai for also having me here to, speak a little bit on this. We are actually, as a fund, engaging with some of the startups that you had kindly shared on one-to-one sessions. So I do hope we will have more intensive engagement with some of them. Just to give you a little background about our fund, we are, we are a 6-year-old fund, started in 2014, and currently running with our second fund. We're an early stage fund, and the theme of the fund is really about how technology and innovation is opening up large markets that were hitherto fragmented or unorganized in India, right? So a lot of the opportunities that VCs and investors had been looking at initially were all around the, say, top 100 or 200 million, Indians, right? Whether it be around e-commerce or fintech or, food delivery and so on, right? It was concentrated in that segment. And our fund's philosophy is really around how do you look at the next billion segment, and which are the sectors where we see the potential to build a lot of large businesses. So while we are a sector agnostic fund, one of the first opportunities we identified was really the whole, agri-tech space. Given that, agriculture and food is a, plus $500 billion economy, but extremely fragmented, somewhat unorganized and regulated in a manner that has contributed to that. Yeah, right. Yet every is a large population that needs food. Food habits are changing, and there's a large base of suppliers, of farmers, a very large number of them, 120 million, of which almost 6/7 are small and marginal farmers. So our hypothesis was that with technology coming in and to help, and when I say technology, I don't mean just information technology, but technology as well as IP related, a boom in IP creation around new inputs around the preservation technologies, around creating e-marketplaces. All of these we felt were, going to enable the creation of large businesses in the space. So we made our first investment, and I think it must have been the first investment by any VC fund in the agri-tech space, in a company called Cropin Technologies, and which some of you may have heard about. And, they were really looking at the opportunity in digitizing farming way back in the early 2010s, right? And when we actually came into the company at that point of time, while they were working with a few farmers, it was also a time when very few farmers even had smartphones, right? So to some extent, the part of the business building was to provide them with the phones. And, from there, of course, we've gone a long way as an ecosystem, as a country, as far as digitization is concerned. And that's reflected in the way the company today is, working with over 3 million farmers, not just in India, but across now another 50 countries in the world, right? So it's some of their large B2B customers that have taken them there. So that's where the journey started. And as you can see, this is an opportunity which is much closer to the back end, right? Which is related to farming. And, but as we went through the life of that fund and we started investing, we saw opportunities across the chain. So for instance, we've invested in e-commerce company that provides inputs like seeds and equipment, etc. We've invested in a company that within the value chain has alternate cold chain technologies. And we've invested at the other end in a couple of food companies, one that works, with innovative millet forms, and another one which has, packaged food, but based vegetable chips, which are, healthy and tasty based on vacuum frying. So as we've got into our second fund, right, and this is a larger fund, about $50 million or 350 crores that will be invested over the next 2 to 3 years. We still see as many, if anything, more opportunities over there, right? Because we believe that the trend of digitization today has reached critical mass. And when I say digitization, it's not just the smartphone access, but it is even what we are seeing in parallel, the development of various technologies that are making it easier for farmers to access what they need, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
More user-friendly apps, local language technologies, voice recognition, right? And we are seeing local development, local chains, whether it be supported by village-level entrepreneurs or so. We think that the whole ecosystem is developing in a certain way. And for us, we believe that the themes that will sort of drive the opportunities over the next few years will again be around the on digitization, and therefore creating more integrated supply chains, which will clearly have the benefits for both at the back end for farmers, for end buyers in terms of quality and quantity and predictability. We think there will also be opportunities for technologies that will help to food preservation, reducing losses, right? And we think that we will also see opportunities for new product development just based on consumer taste. So for instance, if you look at alternate proteins, right, we're starting to see a lot of activity there. So these are some of the sub-themes that we are quite bullish on as we go ahead. We are still an early stage fund. We invest in our first check will be about $1 million to $1.5 million when we come into the company. And so really we're coming in at a seed stage, and our model is such that we work very closely with the company. We've got a dedicated set of portfolio advisors, as well as, partnerships people within the team to work with them. So I just wanted to reiterate that we see a great opportunity in this whole agri-tech space across different points of the value chain, right? And we're really looking for, entrepreneurs with great innovations that are leveraging technology in order to scale and build large businesses. I would love to have, been here through this pitch session, but as Srinivasu knows, we were having clashes, but we are getting to see, some of you one-on-one. So very excited. So I wish you all a great session from here, and, all the best for what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Krishnan. Excited to see, food and agri being a sector which was not so popular and glamorous. but now, it has become mainstream. So I hope that, this session and whatever we are doing at TGS will help the startups to reach as many investors as possible, like you, who are like keen on investing. So thank you very much, Krishnan, for joining us at a very short notice. And then we'll get going with the proceedings.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. So you can be there as long as you can, but otherwise, you can.
I will just mute myself for now.
Sure. So thank you very much, friends. A bit of an introduction about me. My name is Srinivasa Sati. I'm the founder and managing director of Finvista Advisors Private Limited. We are a mergers and acquisitions capital fundraising advisory firm with offices in Hyderabad and Bangalore. I'm on the board of TiE Hyderabad, and I chair the investor-oriented activities for TGS 2020 event. Okay, so now I call upon Mrutyunjaya. Your time starts as soon as you share your screen, and you'll have 5 minutes. Mrutyunjaya, can you share your screen and then start your pitch? Thank you. Yeah, I request everyone else to keep your presentation ready on your desktop so that the moment you share, it will be visible and don't lose time.
Is it visible, sir? Can I?
Yeah, it is visible. Go ahead, Mrutyunjaya. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you for providing us the opportunity to talk about Periscope Labs.
No video, only audio coming, Mrutyunjaya.
Okay. So only audio?
Yeah. The screen doesn't have the video. No.
Okay. So just I'll have to speak, sir.
Yeah. Please go ahead. Yeah. Continue speaking. Yeah, because it is not showing anything.
So should I show this video as well?
No, do you have a presentation or a video? If it is a video, you can try and see if you can open it as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's what, sir. Is it visible now?
It's not visible. No. Shivan, anything that we need to do to enable him?
So he has to share it again. Enable his screen sharing enable. Yeah, see, now it's there.
Now it is there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting now, sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you for providing us the opportunity to talk about Periscope Labs. I, Anudhay Mitra, and along with me, Mrutyunjaya Sahu, both co-founders of Periscope Labs, will be presenting on behalf of our team. Periscope Labs is the industry 4.0 compliant startup which is addressing the problems of shrimp aquaculture farmers and helping them increase their profitability by increasing the yield. The pain point of brackish water traditional shrimp farmers is high capex and opex, which reduces their profit. The reason being the higher capex and opex due to aeration practices by surface aerators like paddle wheel, as shown in this figure, blower, and due to manual feeding. A sample case of expenses borne by a semi-intensive farmer from Bhimavaram area of Andhra Pradesh is shown here to highlight the reason of reduction in profitability. The calculation shown in the table is for a 50 count per kg production. As you can see in the data, there are two major costs, electricity and feed. Shrimp is a bottom dweller, and all the waste goes to the sediment, that is, the shrimp excreta and feed. To disintegrate it, dissolved oxygen is required. In a standard size of 1 acre, that is 4,000 square meters, about 1 lakh post larvae are disseminated into the pond. To achieve growth and avoid diseases, farmers generally deploy a combination of paddle wheel aerators and blowers, the figure of which we have already shown before, to attain a DO level of 5 ppm at the sediment. This combination of aerators results in higher energy consumption, and to purchase one has to spend more capital. Also, the existing aerators are not data-driven. This table shows after all the effort by a farmer, he or she has an average profit of only 1 to 1.5 lakhs per acre per harvesting season. And mind you, this does not include the capital cost. To solve this issue, Periscope Labs has developed a combination of monitoring and aeration system for precise aeration. The IoT-based aeration system is a wave-based diffuse aeration which operates at the sediment, where the aeration works by the guidance of mobile monitoring system. When the mobile monitoring system senses the DO level less than 5 ppm at the sedimented level, the aeration unit automatically starts working. This process reduces the electricity cost by at least 50% and also helps the shrimp to grow better. which further helps the farmer to increase the yield by 7 to 10%. Under the COVID conditions, when human resource availability also became an issue, remote operation and maintenance are additional value proposition to the farmer. The figure here shows the addition and sensor modules. Due to IP concerns, we are not able to show the video here, but we will show it when we have a one-on-one discussion. Here, the addition device does a vertical displacement to create waves and break the air bubble faster. The sensor module senses and sends the data to the cloud, and the farmer can check the water quality and current data in his or her mobile phone. Our USPs include reduction in capital cost, increase in productivity, and reduction of carbon footprint. As energy reduction is a critical component, it also reduces unnecessary burden on electricity infrastructure, as maintenance of which remains a difficult proposition from the government point of view. I would also like to highlight, we have already got 7 patents, applied for 7 patents, out of which we have already got 4 design patents, and there are 3 process and technology patents, out of which 1 is in published and 2 are in other processes. We would like to highlight the market size for the product as shown in the table. India has about 1,58,000 hectares under cultivation in shrimp farms. Each hectare requires about 8 numbers of hectares. And considering a 15% of replacement rate of the area, the annual demand comes up to about 1,90,000 devices. This shows the market potential of our innovative devices, where the beachhead market will be about $4.5 million, which is only Andhra Pradesh. And the serviceable area market, that is the Indian market of brackish water shrimp aquaculture, about $20 million. The data for competitive technologies, going to the next slide, the data for competitive technologies is only, as you can see, our erosion system has been significantly lower energy consumption and has significantly higher SOTR, that is standard oxygen transport. To achieve our target, we have developed a go-to-market strategy where we will reach the farmer through various contact points like FPOs, NGOs, agri-incubators like Manage and SIBA. As you can see in the figure, India has 66 coastal districts where brackish water aquaculture is done, and we have prepared a one-on-one plan to reach the market. The plan for the first year is shown in the table. Now we will go. This is our piloting we have done in Govilpattur is a commercial piloting we have done in Tamil Nadu, and this is we have deployed at SIBA, Chennai for research and further development purposes. The traction which we have received so far, we have been selected by Manage for the second round of activity of that scheme that is represented in front of the ministry. We were also among the top 10 agri startup in the year 2019-20 and were selected by AID and NAB. And we have also deployed at Bhimavaram, and we were also selected in the RACE 2020 summit. Going to the next slide, this is our team. This is our funding status. We have already raised 54 lakhs, and for investors, we shall be happy to discuss if any investors are interested. This is our team. Me and Vijay are the founders, and we have collaborations with SIBA and IIT Kharagpur, and our advisors are Mr. Murthy, Professor Balachandran, and Professor Amit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrityunjaya. Everything is good except that the audio would have been a little better, but it's all right. I think your time is over. 5 minutes have used. Can I request you stop sharing the screen, and can I have Uday? Can you please share your screen, Uday, from ChloroHemp? Yeah, Uday, please go ahead. Your 5 minutes starts now.
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead, Uday.
Hi, this is Raghavendra Singh on behalf of ChloroHemp. Good afternoon, everyone. We are ChloroHemp Agrotech, and we are working towards commercializing the entire industrial hemp value chain. To quickly take you through the product, to an overview, in the year 2018, the US Farm Bill was passed, where they have legalized industrial hemp farming across the United States. And the same year, the only state in India right now, Uttarakhand, legalized industrial hemp farming using less than 0.3 THC seeds. So the hemp plant is basically the sober cousin of the cannabis plant. The cannabis plant has the psychoactive component called THC, and the industrial hemp plant has less than 0.3 THC, and it is grown mainly for its fiber, and it's for its seed and its leafy and bud material. The seed is crushed into oil and also uses protein supplement. The entire fiber can be processed into fabric and paper. The leaves and the bud material are used to extract a medicinal compound called CBD. The problem that we have identified and are tackling is non-availability of certified seeds. And even if the seeds are available and the biomass is grown, it cannot be. There are lack of processing units to convert the biomass into high value products. So that is evident from because since 2018 till now, there are very few licenses and very few growers in Uttarakhand who are actually tackling that. And we are one of the first who have put seeds into the ground. Our team is myself, Raghavendra Singh. I've done my economic honors from DU, and then I did my MBA from Infinity Business School. After that, I've worked with General Electric and ABN AMRO. After that, 2011, I started my own first startup, manufacturing safety equipments, and now we have more than 50,000 clients. In 2018, we founded ChloroHemp and started operations in November in 2019. Our second team member is Uday Shankar. He's done his BTech Chemical Engineering from IIT Delhi and his MBA in Agri-Business Management from IIM Lucknow. He's looking after product development and strategy. Our third member is Sahil Malik. He's a lawyer in the Uttarakhand High Court based out of Nainital. That is where our farm is also very close by. And because agriculture being a concurrent list subject and every state is a country in itself, and hemp being hemp has a certain baggage associated with it. So we thought it is best to have a legal and compliance person looking after every issue that we might face. So what we are offering is a seed to shelf fully integrated hemp processing units. To give you a description in one line, on the product side, we envision ourselves to be a Fab India of hemp. So imagine a Fab India store supplying hemp textiles, hemp paper, hemp edibles, hemp cosmetics and furniture. And on the services side, we want to be a mother dairy or Amul of hemp, where we would be supplying the seeds to the farmers under contract farming, adopting best farming practices, and then processing the biomass for the farmers, and then doing a buyback arrangement. So the hemp plant has multiple usages. I'll just quickly run through this. So our products right now, what we have focused on is the hemp seed. We are dehulling the seeds into hemp hearts, and then we are cold pressing it into hemp oil. So our hemp oil and our hemp hearts, which are edible proteins, are due to launch by early January next year. Then the hemp plant being a single input multi-output plant, we'll be utilizing the seeds. We'll be left with a lot of fiber, which we'll be selling in bulk to textile and paper manufacturers. We already have certain agreements for that. The third is CBD extraction. This is the medicinal component of the hemp plant, and this is something we'll be controlling completely in-house using controlled environment growing using greenhouses. And we'll be adopting two methods, which is supercritical carbon dioxide base and one is ethanol base. The carbon dioxide method base is very specific and it can separate every single component, and the ethanol base gives you a more full-bodied CBD. The novelty of our project are many. Firstly, we have a state-of-the-art farming facility approved by the Uttarakhand government. We already have the license and other documentation. We already have a farm growing. We are setting up the textile extraction setup with IIT Delhi. We have the best-in-class CBD extraction setup, which we are setting up through our incubators. We're also going to be enabling local artisans and handloom workers by supplying them hemp fiber and getting local handloom products made. Also, we'll be giving an option of a very viable cash crop to farmers. Sorry.
Raghavendra,
So thank you. Our own industrial hemp seeds across the country. The market size is around 15 billion US. Yeah, thank you. And our competition right now, main are Bombay Hemp Company and Hemp Street, who have raised some funds, inconsistent product quality and not adhering to any government guidelines. And we have lots of controlled, consistent growth that we're doing. We have reached quite a way ahead in industry connects. We already have letter of intent for hemp textiles and hemp fabric from Fab Alley and India. It's a leading textile and women fashion clothing brand from India. We are recognized by Startup India, Startup Himachal, Startup Uttarakhand. We are incubated by IIT Mandi and IIT Delhi for textile. We have also been supported for BIRAC Bioness Incubator through IIT Kanpur, and we have reached the second stage of selection in the current Big 17 call. We have exclusive agreement for 0.3 THC certified seeds from a European company as well.
You have to wrap it up, Raghavendra, please.
Yes, and the rest is our business model. We'll be using omni channels and bulk supply. Also, the financials by 3 years we can be revenue positive after acquiring 80 hectares of hemp, and we want to raise an investment of 1.5 CR for initial setup, which will be used for machinery and cultivation and processing mainly. This is our ask. We can go into detail offline, and thank you very much. This is the picture of our actual farm in Uttarakhand. This is our hemp plantation, and the company next to us, the building is the paper producer, so we'll be supplying the fiber to them. Thank you very much. We're open for anything offline, any discussions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Raghavendra. Thank you. You overstepped by a minute, but kindly next speakers, trying to manage your time well. Thank you, Raghavendra. If you can stop. Okay. Now we have Car Next. Anyone? Car Next?
Yes, yes, Srinivas Garu.
Yeah, please.
My name is Madhav.
Madhav, yeah, go ahead, Madhav. Your time starts. Yeah.
My time starts now?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So, Cornext, for the first time, Indian Council for Agriculture Research has put that green fodder availability in the country has a shortage of about 50%. That is a serious problem. More than 3/4 of the states have shortage of fodder, because of which there is always a millions of cattle starving to death for lack of fodder, and then that also means loss of livelihood. So this is a serious problem, and also loss in milk yield. For the first time in the country, around 5 years back, we have pioneered a concept called bale silage. Bale silage essentially gives you 12-month shelf life and also good quality, thereby giving more milk, optimizing the genetic potential of an animal. So this helps farmers balance their feed rations throughout the year, and also be able to get milk yield in an optimum fashion. So bale silage has started around 5 years back in the country. Yeah, and I would like to split the entire Cornext journey over the last 5.5 years into 3 phases. For the first 2 years, we wanted to commercialize this as a business proposition, and we partnered with the government of Andhra Pradesh, introduced bale silage, imported the machines from Europe, which were very expensive to start with. And these, the product size is of 400 kgs, which can feed an animal for up to 1 month. But the challenges that we faced here are the 400 kg bale, which is very heavy to handle for a marginal farmer. Second thing is we require large lands, so you need about 1,000 acres in a given location to be able to harvest. But that led us to further think through about what we can do. The innovation is we have developed a machinery on our own, and which comes roughly about 3% of what it would cost for you to import the machinery. And it can produce about a cattle ration that can feed about 2,000 cattle in a given day. And this, this also is intended to decentralize the production so that the, the logistics expenditure makes it affordable for the dairy farmers. So when we talk about, Cornext, the journey of silage, the question is not whether farmers want this kind of fodder. There is no doubt about it. Farmers want it. We only want to make it available throughout the year and affordable throughout the year. So we have launched something called as Cornext Fodder Entrepreneurship Model with an integrated e-marketplace. How it works is we have decentralized the production units. We have identified rural entrepreneurs who will partner with us, thereby give them all the science of doing things, the mechanization that is required, and also the marketplace that is much required. So we have producers spread across the country, thereby decentralize the production. On the right-hand side, we also have dairy farmers who are willing to place the order. So once a dairy farmer places the order automatically gets tracked to the nearest stock point, i.e. the fodder entrepreneur who is probably in Gujarat, could be in Assam or Meghalaya, wherever they are. We have our stock point. So the average X factor price of a product is about 5 rupees, whereas the logistics cost so far was about 1.5 to 2 rupees. The idea is to bring it down to about 50 paisa, thereby making it millions and millions of tons of fodder available across the country. So far, it is heavily unorganized. If you have to draw a parallel, the only parallel that we have is, the organized feed concentrate market at this stage is about 28,000 crore rupees, in the country. So if you draw a parallel, the feed concentrate cost per animal is about 70 to 80 rupees, and the fodder is about 50 to 60 rupees. So roughly drawing that as a parallel, the opportunity that lies ahead for Cornext in the coming years, maybe 3 to 5 years, is about 12,500 crore rupees is the market opportunity that we have. Over the last 5 years, year on year, we started with a 4 crore turnover, and we popped in 25 crore turnover in the year 1920. And this marketplace that we are looking at, by decentralizing, we are looking at least a possibility of million and a half tons. And the last slide from our side would be the the funding requirement for us to be able to achieve 100 crore turnover would be it is clearly evident. We have 40 seconds, so we will be spending about 2.5 crore rupees on software and other R&D, And for the marketing and the ecosystem establishment, we are looking at another 7 crores for the first year, and the second year will be 15 crores. For the next 2 years, we have a projected revenues of about 106 crore rupees, and the PBT and the fund requirements are clearly evident. So we are happy to associate. And the last, because I have 16 seconds, sir, I would like to conclude. The e-commerce enabled network, and this is a right marriage of science of preservation of fodder, giving a shelf life of 12 months, mechanization at an affordable investment, and employment generation for each mission would be around 15 to 20. Marketing support to the the rural segment and nurturing the rural entrepreneurship. So this is what we are set to do, and we would love to have you on board to reach about 5 million cattle, each of them spending about 25,000 rupees per year. Thank you so much. I exceeded by 17 seconds.
Great, Madhav. Thanks a lot. I think you are very, very disciplined and also nice in presentation. Thank you.
Thank you,
now we have Farm Intelligent Deepak. Deepak, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Shall I share the screen now?
Yeah, please.
Okay, is this visible?
Yes, it's visible. You can go on a full screen mode if you want.
Okay.
And your time starts now.
Okay. So we are a farm intelligence system. So we are an agri-tech startup. We are developing tractor-driven and self-driving robotic farm equipment. We started in 2017 with the idea to solve issues with the current mechanization in the agriculture and workforce shortage. Trying to tackle 2 problems. So we decided to start with cotton because cotton is a crop that is that is a very labor-intensive crop and does not have a proper machine. So we decided to go and develop this tractor-driven. This is the first iteration of the prototype. So if you look at it, the way we have developed the multiple patents that we have filed, we have covered the unique method of seed placement that is required for cotton to achieve the level of precision. Additionally, we have tackled whatever issues with the current mechanization is. We have made this product user friendly. We have provided operational flexibility, as in a lot of the times in the farms intercropping carries out. So with our system, you can do it at the same time. Because this is completely electronics and we are using sensor-based sowing, we have reduced the part count, we have increased the reliability as well. And because it's electronically, you can set it up, we have reduced the setup time, and we are also increasing precision, thereby reducing seed wastage as well. So if you look at it, why cotton? Because as I said, it's basically, there is no proper equipment. Farmers still sow by hand because of the challenges with the cotton seed as well as the high cost of the seed itself. And if you look at the just market size in the 11 cotton producing states in India in 2019, it was just 2,700 crore, with farmers either sowing with a combination of just tractor or labor, that's it, or just labor itself. So the business model would be just manufacture, market, sell, and if required license the technology, and the target customers would be farmers, farming as a service startups, governments, custom hiring centers. So me, I'm Deepak Reddy, and the team, Avinash Karade, we've both founded this company in 2017. Both come from agriculture backgrounds. Avinash comes from Vidarbha, Akola. I come from Tamil Nadu. So both cotton producing states. We knew what farmers in our family faced, and we decided to collaborate for this to develop viable solution. So I am an MS Aerospace engineer from California State University, Long Beach. Avinash is an BE automobile engineer, and between us we have like 10 plus years of working experience. We are also assisted by Dr. Praveen Shankar. He was my mentor and professor back in CSLB, and with his help we have developed advanced system. So if you look at it, our key milestones, we are a recognized startup. We have filed multiple patents which covers a unique method of seed placement. We have been selected by IIT Mandi recently for exploration program, and also recently we have been granted under DST Nidhi Prayas for this to complete this project. So on a combined, we have received 9 lakhs from IIT Mandi and Nidhi Prayas. So we are looking to raise 65 lakhs as a seed fund. Till today's date, we have this is the funds that we have raised. We have invested close to 4.5 lakhs, and much of the money that we are going to raise, since product development is covered by Nidhi Prayas, we'll be looking to scale and actually set up the infrastructure that will be required to take this project forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepak. That's nice. You're well within your time.
Yeah.
Can I have Bhagat or someone from Farmer 007? Bhagat, are you there?
Sir, I'm ready, sir.
Yeah, please show your screen and start.
My voice is clear?
Absolutely. Go ahead, Bhagat. Yep.
My presentation is...
Yeah,
my
presentation is clear. You, if you want, you can put it, 20 slides is too much, but you have to finish it in 5 minutes. Please be mindful. Go ahead. Yeah.
Thanks for giving wonderful opportunity. I'm from Farmer 007. 1 second, sir. That's my slide is a little slow. Yeah.
Sure.
1 second. Sorry. Extremely sorry.
No worries. You'll get a few more seconds. Don't worry.
Yeah, just... Okay, sir, now okay?
Yeah, it's okay. You want to go on presentation mode if you want, and then start. I'll give you 5 minutes from now.
Yes,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm from Farmer 007. I need only 4 lakhs rupees because due to Corona, I'm little facing the lockdown issues. Already we have a grant of 10 lakhs rupees from the central government. So I need from only 4 lakhs rupees from this program. Actually, I am the associate member 2019 and I am selected for the Investor Connect in TiE Hyderabad. My project name is Farmer 007, e-village for each village. Village name pin code .farmer 007. Like that, we are creating 6 lakh websites for each village. To be honest, we believe that Ola, uneducated auto driver getting good revenues only because of the Google Maps, GPS, and the Ola app made the successful business model for the auto drivers because they are the leaders. But before that, they have to chill out to high-tech city, Madhap, like that. They have to chill out daily. But today they are with the calm. They are doing like a white collar job only because of the Ola and Google Map. In the same way, similarly, farmers are the uneducated. So for that, we need the more technically sound project that is like just like Google Street Maps. We are developing digital villages. With this platform, we want to make the farmer as agriculture as a sustainable business. So to be honest, agriculture is a different layers. In India, we have different layers: government and nature, ICR, and Digital India, middleman. Like there's so many. Of course, today also in Delhi, so much lab is coming, issues going on. Actually, today we have a good opportunity because Sri Narendra Modi launched the Digital India project and he has taken initiative for the agri reforms. In India, farmers are 40+ crore, dealers and traders are 10+ crore, and agri-related industries are totally 65 crore, are directly, indirectly depending on the agriculture. At the same time, we have a good internet penetration is there. In rural, 29 crore people are there, and urban also 10 crore people there, and total 39 crore people are in the online. But to be honest, in Digital India platform, if you go through the farmer.go.in, it's a government platform, but the users are only 49 lakhs. Kisan Suvidha, it is launched by Sri Narendra Modi app downloads, it is only in lakhs. E-Nam also is 1 crore. But the users are different. But in India, we have 101 ICR institutes, 70 agriculture universities. Like this, so much good opportunities there. Actually, the problem statement is that today, rural and agri-based companies are paying high cost for the rural marketing, for the offline to sending the vehicles, manpower, and same time they are depending on the electronic media because there is no such platform, village dynamic platform for the rural target audience. Same time, the farmer and middleman also having the same problem to interact each other to make the good revenues, and they are unable to use the Google and Digital India services. Of course, there is another problems and interrelated, that demand and supply problem. So many times the tomato is 1 kg per 1 rupee. Sometimes it may be for 10, 50 rupees. Onion may be 100 rupees 1 kg. Like this, there is an irregular demand is there. Of course, so many day by day, farmers are getting suicide. So problem.
Bhagat, sorry to interject. You can go to your solution quickly because you only have 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Actually, ask very quickly. Yeah. Problems, I think you can skip and then please. Go to
actually, in India, we have different 11 climates, sir. And same time, actually, I'm not doing any innovation, but we are doing that different, because in the government having the pharma.gov.in, area-profile.gov, like this, so much websites is there. But to get the information, it has to go to the state level, district level. Every time they have to go to the all steps and enter the captcha code. And generally, farmer uses the economical mobiles, 6,000 to 7,000. They have the little storage space. In that storage space, the WhatsApp, TikTok, and having the maximum utilization space. That's the reason only we developing the Village Connect. It depends upon the only. It is not the app. It is an independent mobile response website for each village. For example, village name pincode.farmer007. Because if you search for a Gandhinagar in Google, you will get 256 Gandhinagars. So much confusion in the village name. So that's the reason in India we have 6 lakh villages. So for each village, we are developing a website. It will connect like a Google Digital Maps, and it will make it more easy to connect the digital world. So this is M News, M Learning, M Network, M Clinic also. In this platform, this is our sample. Our website, it looks like an app only. It works like an app only. You need to go to the Play Store. Uneducated also, you can get the information with the simple tabs. And
you have only 30 seconds more, Bhagat. Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Actually, sir, today there is a good penetration in all over India. So already compared to the other competitors like Plantix and Agrostar, all are the state-centric, and they are in the English language, and they are the apps. We are only the not the app, just web URL we are doing, and we have a subscription model and hyper-local model. These are to each more and more people. This is about our core team. We need only 4 lakhs to face these lockdown issues. Thank you very much, sir. Because I am the seed of the TIE Hyderabad only. Because 2 years back you have given me the opportunity to mold this much level. Today I have got so much 4 states incubation, and I got 10 lakhs rupees grant from the central government. So I need your blessings, sir. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Bhagat. Thank you. Yeah, you can stop sharing your screen. Next, can we have Freshbox? Is it Rohan Kumar? Is there anyone from Freshbox? Rohan Kumar?
Yeah, he is there. Just a minute.
Yeah.
He's sharing the screen. Right.
Okay, done. So your time starts now, Rohan.
Okay. Just a minute.
Yeah, please be mindful of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You have to quickly go through what you want to cover. Please.
Freshbox started with a vision to be a #1 sourcing partner of choice by delivering fresh, safe food products with outstanding quality, values, and with continuous innovations. So what is that we are trying to solve? Basically, like when we go to the metro cities, the produce what we get is almost like it is more than 24 hours after the harvest, even up to 48 hours. Whereas Freshbox is trying to deliver it within 24 hours. And mostly we find that most of the water which is used for farming is not of the best quality, which contains a lot of toxins. So we try to identify the farmer with better water facilities and land also. So how do we do that? I'll come to the point. Before that, the core value proposition we give is farm fresh produce. The produce what you get is the freshest to the consumer. Consumer can be B2B as well as B2C, and handpicked with care. Like, agriculture is a product which is like not in a unique shape and size. So here we have variety of that. So which enables us to provide best quality of the produce and completely safe and toxin free. This is what is the promise which Freshbox we do. How do we go about? Firstly, when a farmer comes via any advertising media or a reference, so we visit the farm and then we do the farm mapping. Many people say that we have 3 acres of land, 5 acres of land. But when you actually see the actual land, they don't have that cultivatable land. So we do the geotagging and then we identify what is the exact cultivatable space. Then we do the soil testing and then water testing. We identify what are the micronutrients and macronutrients which are missing in the land as well as in the water. So we give, like any doctor gives a prescription. We have developed a ERP solution which gives a list of what all the remedies need to be done in order to do this. So that is the key point which we do that. So based on the inputs given, when the farmer is given a follow-up, like once nutrient and pest management support is there, whenever there is a need to put in the nutrients, there is a call which goes to the farmer and app notification also goes to the farmer, and farmer has done or not, there is a confirmation. Once it is done, it is ticked in the ERP solution, and then the farmer will be relieved. So that makes the farmer get more yield and more produce. So what we have a motive is like increase the productivity of the farmer as well as increase the income of the farmer by reducing the cost. So that is the key actually. So I would like to, what are the technologies we use? We have like for the front end, we have B2B as well as B2C apps and e-commerce website also. And we use machineries for grading, because a lot of farmers, when they produce, they sell it in bulk. But our customers are different. We need to sell it to the different customers like B2B, Horeca, everybody. So we give different grading to them. So based on the grading, we do the pricing also. And supply and demand analysis. This is one of the key point where we lack currently in the present system, because the farmer does not understand, like right now onion prices went up, so next year he will start sowing onion only because he expects 100 rupees to come back. But next 3 years it never comes back because everybody is growing. So there is a lot of supply, so demand will naturally fall. So
Rohan,
that is
you have only
one...
2 more minutes, Rohan.
Yeah. So this is a just brief our dashboard which looks like we give all the inputs to the farmer. And supply chain, we have Horecas and modern trade, as well as we have tie up with lot of consumers also. These are the clients whom we handle. So this is the basic thing. Why do they come to us? Because of the fill rate, on-time delivery, superior quality, customer responsiveness, and product innovation. So that is where we have good mentors on our board. One of is CM Patil, Rajiv Prakash, and then Ravi Linganuri and Jayant Humbarwadi, who are the angel investors. So our team, dependent team like myself, I come with an experience of 10 years. I have worked in MCX Stock Exchange. I understand the demand and supply. Pawan Patil, he is a co-founder for Your Majesty, a logistics company. And Praveen comes from a technology background. He has worked with Qualcomm, Zebra, and other companies, leading companies. So this is the main thing. The ask we are looking for is 5 crore. We are looking for funds, wherein presently we have proven the method, and we have had around 12,500 farmers with whom we have worked. So we would like to expand out of Karnataka also. We have presently built a network. So we would like to explore that with the investment coming in, and invest in the technology and team also. Thank you, TIE TGS, for giving us an opportunity.
Yeah, great, Rohan. Great. Thank you very much. If you can stop sharing the screen, we will have next is Genflow, Nitish.
I'm sharing my screen.
So. Yeah, please. Before you start, Nitish, we apologize for this rush. I think 5 minutes is definitely a small amount of time, but you should also probably realize we have 140 startups that have to be doing the pitching at TGS. So, while we apologize for this 5 minutes, but it is all your smartness, how much you can use the time for in those 5 minutes to impress an investor. Okay. Over to you, Nitish. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Nitish Gaurav. Basically, I am an agronomist from an agriculture background. So our team has co-founded an Genflow AI, which as a product like AHB Suraksha is an application software we are serving in telemedicine service for the veterinary pharma in India. So what exactly problems are? Like they do not have simply enough vets, the experience and highly skilled vets. They are having serious lack of basic infrastructures, of course, and disease tracking is not happening there. Like early stage disease tracking is not happening. Medicine prices are almost high, and they are being betrayed by the shopkeepers. They are not aware, they do not have the extension knowledge of medicines prices, and all certain problems are taking over to the livestock farmers in India. So what do we have a solution? We had incorporated a telemedicine app, which is named AHP Suraksha. So what in which they had available facility to detect the early stage diseases. Doctor monitoring is there. You will get the highest government certified doctor through video call consultations from anywhere from the India through the remote controls. So it definitely reduce the physical state of the farmers. So coming to the working model, how it's work, like what we use that the farmer have to scan the symptoms, they have to capture the image, follow a few questions in multi-language. We do have a Hindi language also. Just record your voice, submit your record. We do have a server which automatically distribute the reports to the highly expert veterinaries. Once they do the clinical study, they get back to the farmers through video calls, through audio calls, and even through the farm visit. And after the finishing the farm visit, we usually provide the medicine at the doorsteps through our company. So the product is like this is a screenshot. The app is placed on Play Store and is working. So what the farmer have to do, they have to just click the image of full body image. Let's say it's an example of cow. They have to select what it is, cow, buffalo, goat, the age of the cattle. It is like in which they can inserted the infected area image, and the last the stool image, which is very much necessary to prescribe the medicines. Then once finishing all with this, they have an option like it is a critical cases or normal cases. Once they will do this, they will quickly go to the reports. Once finalizing, the doctor will do the clinical study. They will get back to the doctors. They will get back to the farmers. By this, like you have John diseases, the ultrasonics medicine to give, like anything in Hindi language and audio languages. Video consultation feature is under the progress. As soon as possible, we will get into it. The unique thing is in app is like there are more than 1 crore dairy farmers in our India, 1 crore livestock farmers in India, in which a single application can serve dairy, poultry, fishery also. And we are planning to get integrated in artificial intelligence once we will gather the largest database onto our app of clinical diseases. So these things we are planning to incorporate as soon as possible. Our strategy is to simply cooperate with the FPOs and other organizations, offer packages, help to download and provide extensions, and it can enjoy the services. That the market says is there are 205 million farmers engaged in livestock and 900 billion of business over going on. We do have operational area, like we are connected in some Ghazipur dairy with having 1,000 dairies, and now more than 5+ dairies want to work with us, and 50+ small farmers want to work with us. So what do we have? We do have 2 simple packages. In 3,600 per cattle per year, what you will get the 24/7 instant video consultations, livestock checkup at the farm, medicine is covered in this package, and doorstep delivery, of course, which has been bifurcated by the single platform, but we are combining it together. If a person wants to get digital treatment, what they have to do, they have to just go for 100 rupees subscription, only a simple cheaper subscription, in which the charges may be applied, but will be cheaper from the market, like medicines and all the things. Our team is having we do have like CTO who is experienced in software development, and one of the person who is experienced in agriculture marketing is looking for the operations. One doctor we do have in connection with one doctor right now, having 3-year plus experience, which is based in Ghaziabad right now. So we are expanding, we're scaling to expand it. We do have requirement of 75 lakh to cover up 1+ more district within 1 or 3 years, in which we will focus our utilized fund by bifurcating in manpower, capital expenditure, working capitals, marketing and trials. Because the thing is innovative, we definitely need to fuel the money into this. So the revenue model says like we will earn through health packages, like subscriptions models. We are connected with the Somnath farmer producer company, which is having 35,000 farmers in Gujarat. And of course, the marketplace income will be there. We are in a tie-up with MSD Healthcare, India's #1 veterinary pharma company. Advertising of like fodder, feeder, cattle companies will definitely join us for their profitable basis. We are incubated by NIAM, National Institute of Agriculture Marketing, and Vadmani Foundations. The mentors are regularly keeping us.
Last few seconds, Nitish.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, you're done? Okay, great. Thanks, Nitish.
Thank you, sir.
Now, can we have Deepak from Green Pods?
Yep, just gonna share this.
Yeah, your time starts now, Deepak.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity. This is Deepak Rajmohan from Green Pod Labs. Our primary focus, India is the 2nd largest producer of fruits and vegetables, but still it loses about 40% of the fresh produce before it reaches the consumer. That's costing the country about $12 billion. This is a massive problem, and we are set to solve this problem. We've developed a natural, nature-inspired active packaging, which slows down the ripening rate and prevents any microbial growth. We use all natural plant extracts and nanotechnology to develop a sachet material. So how we do that in 3 steps. We identify specific plant defense mechanism. We develop a proprietary formulation using nanotechnology. We use data to precisely customize the formulation for each crop. A product comes in a small sachet form similar to your silica gel sachet. It's as simple as just drop it in a small crate or a basket and then start saving. We have tested our product in several fruits and vegetables, and we see on average 40 to 60% increase in shelf life, all tested in room temperature, eliminating any need for any cold storage or energy needed storage. So we've tested for pomegranates, we've tested for tomatoes, we've also tested for figs. Looking at the competitor analysis, we check all the boxes of being cost effective, easy to adopt, plant-based, and being targeted for each crop and for each customer request. Within the farm to fork supply chain, we target 3 customers. 1, farmers who also have a supply chain. 2, distributors and middlemen. 3, retail stores who procure fruits and vegetables directly from the farm. Looking at a use case where a small farmer or a distributor who's selling 5 tons of crops a day, he's on average losing 20%, which is accounting for $2,000 per day. If he decides to use our product by spending $150, he can gain back that $2,050. For every dollar the customer spends, he can gain upwards of $14. In the last 4 months, we have gone from a single prototype to developing 4 new products and working with 7 large customers. And we are running trials with them to understand the value in the marketplace. We are planning to launch our first product by end of this year, and then we'll be launching 3 more products by end of next year. The team is led by myself and Vijay. I have a master's in food science and 7 years of research experience in food biotechnology and agriculture. Vijay has about 13 years of operational experience in various social impact fields. Put together, we have the right capacity and skill set to build this company. We are raising for a seed round. We're raising about 550k euros, out of which we already got a soft commitment for 400,000 euros. So we're trying to fill up the 150,000 euros, which accounts for about the 1.3 crores. So this will be primarily spent on R&D, scaling up on operations, and building our team. I just want to end by saying food waste is a preventable problem, and we believe our solution can be a solution for this problem. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Deepak. That was nice. You saved some time for others. So can we have Abhinav from Hyperfull?
Yes, sir. Hi.
Yeah, please share your screen and start your presentation.
Hello.
The time starts now.
My name is Abhinav. I am the founder of Hyperfull. Hyperfull is a B2B food tech startup based out of Hyderabad. Hyperfull helps local food brands transform into national chains. With the emergence of on-demand food delivery apps like Swiggy and Zomato, the F&B market has transformed. Now there is a huge opportunity for food brands to expand to new areas as demand generation and delivery are enabled by food delivery aggregators. Food delivery is now mainstream. But 80% of brands in a city still confine themselves to a single point of sale, even when they have the right product and easy market access in other areas. This is because in order to accommodate the demand, the brands will need to set up and operate kitchens across the city, which brings forward its own set of challenges, which includes high upfront cost, unable to set up central kitchens, improper inventory management, and a dependency on one category of food or cuisine. This makes payback periods for the kitchen investments longer. Now couple this with inefficient operations. This leads to a death of 70% kitchens. Today, consistency and quality are imperative for the success of a brand. To tackle all of these problems efficiently is a challenge. This makes a full stack integrated product for scaling fresh food brands and need of the hour. The brands today need to focus on the product, menu, and packaging for growth. They need to source quality ingredients at scale. They need a capex-free expansion for cloud kitchens, a codified and trackable food preparation and distribution system. They need to be able to participate and execute marketing campaigns. They need a tech-backed SOP-driven delivery kitchen operations. Hyperfull is exactly solving these problems. We are digitizing the fresh food supply chain. We understand the recipes and standard operating procedures of the various categories. We codify them into repeatable functions using a technology stack. We have built an integrated supply chain which includes procurement of raw materials at scale, production at central kitchens, multiple point logistics to cloud kitchens to ensure food freshness, kitchen operations needed for consistent but customizable fresh food preparation. This allows Hyperfull to run multiple fresh food brands. These are the brands we work with. We run 62 points of sale in 14 cloud kitchens. Geographically, we cover 60% of Hyderabad and 10% of Bangalore. How do we identify these brands? We use a data-backed in-house algo to figure out the right brand. We do this exercise at every hyperlocal area around brand loyalty, scalability, sales volume, existing customer base. We now acquire brand licenses and pay a royalty for proven brands on delivery platforms. This enables soft control on menu, packaging, branding, and strong control on unit economics, raw materials, operations, and promotions. We onboard brands on the delivery platform and run marketing for the brand. We manage inventory, source quality ingredients, prepare food, and fulfill the customer order. We franchise Hyperfull kitchens to entrepreneurs under franchisee invested company operated model as of now. We decide this depending on the brand licenses we hold per hyperlocal area. Here, we own the demand for the kitchen investments to turn profitable. The results for us was very evident. Offering a full stack product for food brands resulted in a reduction of COGS by 30% and able to offer higher discounts. We were able to generate 5,000 revenue per every square feet per month, which is a 3x industry average. Brand owners are now able to invest more time on product quality and menu improvements. Here, we are unlocking the value in supply chain. The value captured through cross-utilization of resources, technology-driven management are driving the benefits. We are empowering brands with a capex light, low risk, and fast method of scaling. This makes Hyperfull a growth product which helps brands scale to national chains. Today, we are looking to raise 32 crores as part of the Series A round of funding. We have 12 crores in the last 12 months as a revenue. We need funding for acquiring bigger brand licenses, which will lead to hyper growth. These are a set of the brands we want to get to Hyderabad to start off. As of now, we run 14 kitchens in Hyderabad and Bangalore. We have been in this space from the last 20 months. We have been consistently growing in the last 4 months post the pandemic. Today, we are a team of 22. Our aim is to disrupt kitchen space. We are on course to become a churner of national chains from local food brands.
Thank you, Abhinav. That was nice, crisp. Can we have Shobna from Inaugal? Shobna, are you there, or anyone from Inaugal? Okay, probably they have not joined. Can we have iSupport Farming, Vijay Kumar?
Yes, hi, Srinivas. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll just share my screen.
Yeah, please go ahead, Vijay Kumar. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, your time started, Vijay.
Yes, please. So I think you went to see my screen, right?
Yes, yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Go.
All right, so thank you so much. My name is Vijay Kumar. So I run this company called iSupport Farming. So we are working with a vision of bringing smiles in farmers' lives. So who we are a farm to fork supply chain startup working with a vision to increase market access, better price realization, and profitability for the small and marginal farmers, thereby enabling traceability of food through technology. So we are founded in 2016, headquartered in Chennai, and we have 4 offices across Tamil Nadu. So what exactly the problem we are solving is, so if you look at the farmers in India, most of the farmers are small and marginal, right? Which means they just own less than 2 acres of land, right? And the supply chain or the market linkage is completely broken, because if you look at farmers produce, for example, let's take a brinjal, right? They usually sell it for 8 to 10 rupees, and it goes through a different middlemen, and once the consumer buys it, they buy it for close to 30-35 rupees. So which is like more than 7 or 5 or 7 times of what the actual farm gate produces, right? So, and also because of this, the farmer gets a low margin, and And also we go 2 or 3 steps back during the production. Again, the input cost is very high and the productivity is very low. So as a solution, what we have is a product called Farmingly, where we procure, process, and sell the produce of the farmers. And apart from that, we also work with the farmers in the entire value chain of agriculture. So right from giving them the technology advice to improve the production, giving them quality inputs at a subsidized rate, and we also help them in arranging mechanization and working capital through bank loans or P2P lending. So like I said, we procure, process, and sell it. So again, procure it from the farmers and process it in our warehouse, in our processing unit, and sell it to Horecas. And also we have our direct-to-consumer product called Farmer Stores. So in the last 4 years, the overall infrastructure, what we have is we are working with close to 1,200 plus farmers, and we have 3 different verticals. As now we don't do we do crops, poultry, and aquaculture. This is fish farming, and we also have storage capacity to store 100 tons of grains. And for in terms of poultry, we have a processing unit where we can process up to 5 tons of poultry birds per day. And we also are partnered with around 29 plus FPOs in Tamil Nadu. So on the technology part, if you look at now, like I said, this is a full stack product where we are tracking the entire supply chain of the produce. And also we have a product for the farm management to manage the entire for the crop operations. And also we have farmer stores where it's more like a direct to consumer platform where people can order groceries directly from the farmers. So we launched farmer stores in July 2020. So till date, we've had close to 1,000 plus orders, and we have launched it only in Chennai. So we have close to 11.2 lakhs plus orders which we have. And on the team, it's myself, Vijay Kumar Mani, and my brother, Vasant Kumar Mani. So actually, I come from an engineering background with more than 12 years experience in HR and consulting. And Vasant, actually, he's an agriculture graduate with more than 17 years experience in, again, sales and marketing. So our mentors and angel investors, so we have angel investors, Ms. Lakshmi and Chandra, so who are have invested in the company, and they are helping us in terms of taking the company to the next level. So, and the funding, if you look at till date, we have raised close to 2.5 crore in the last 4 years, right? And currently we are looking at raising around 8 crore, out of which we are looking at spending this for product development, operations, marketing, and building the asset and infrastructure. So plan ahead, so till date, if you look at on the revenue part, last year we closed it close to 8.5 crore.
Yeah,
this year,
another 10-15 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So with this fundraise of 8 crore, we are looking at scaling this to 30, 50, and 100 crore by 2024. And currently we are operating in Tamil Nadu, and we are looking at expanding this to 4 more states next year, and by global or national presence in a couple of years. So this is what I have. Thank you so much.
That's great. Yeah. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you. If you can stop sharing the screen.
Sure.
Pradeep, can you go online? Pradeep?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah. Just sharing the screen.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, I think screens are right. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Hello, greetings for all the panel members and the entrepreneurs. I'm Pradeep GS, CEO and co-founder of Prashpi Global Services. Today I'll be taking our pitch in a couple of minutes about this. We are Prashpi Global Services, a consulting company. Our foremost product is something is called Prashpi Food Mall. We're trying to create a food marketplace by connecting B2C and B2B market in sense where we're connecting, in B2C, we're connecting catering, home chefs, street vendors, and subscription model subscription services. In B2B, institutional catering, corporate kitchens, and B2B stores. In brief, I will be explaining what we are doing in catering. In catering services, for example, you have any events or any functions, you'll be requiring of food. When to get the services done, you need to Google it, find a person, or you have to find through your friends. Instead, and it takes a couple of time and minute to finalize menus, cost, and everything. Instead of it takes almost 1 to 2 days to get this process done. We eliminate all this process, and you just need to have an app, and you can finalize your curated menus, finalize it. Your prices are shown, pay for it, and that's it. Your food will be on your place and at your precise time. In Home Foods, we are making a great opportunity for women homemakers to list out their products and cuisines to sell out on our platform. So it will be delivered to the customers who are ordered through our platform. In street vendors, this is a very niche platform we're getting through. And we are trying to connect street vendors of India in our platform so that they can sell their, they can list and sell their products in our platform, and it will be delivered to the customers. In subscription-based food, we're giving subscription foods to the people who require, like who staying away from house, in all their 3 meals, diet oriented, and it will be subscription based and monthly subscription food. In B2B, institution catering, where we'll be providing canteen services and food services for the institutions, and corporates also will be providing the food management services and food court management and catering services for their employees. In B2B store, where we'll be pushing brands to sell out their vending machines and products to the corporates and to the vendors of the B2C services. This all will be available in one single app, so that you have one app, we can go through all the products at one shot instead of having multiple apps for multiple categories. In revenue, in the industry, where only the catering industry, the food industry of India is something 35,000 crores in 2019. The overall food industry is something around 4.4 lakhs. And when we see at the 10% growth by 2022, it will be around 5.83 lakh crores. And this is the industry we're targeting at. And the catering, the street food, the street vendors are the biggest revenue generator for the country, who are completely unorganized. We're trying to organize this complete platform and get them the proper orders and generate revenue. And in turn, it helps our economy too. Our revenue model goes like this. Catering services, we charge 10 to 20% of commissions for each plate. And subscription foods, we charge 20 to 40% flat, because we are setting up the kitchen and we're giving a subscription food to other people. In home cooked food, we'll be giving all the subscription module to home cook and street food vendors, so that they can list their products and sell it through. For home cooked food, subscription starts from $5.99, and street food starts with $7.99. For corporate kitchens, for management and all the services, we charge 10 to 15% on the overall order services. For B2B stores to put their brand, we charge 15 to 12% on the brand promoting and the product bought by us. We are seeking the investment of 4 crores for setting up our operations in Bangalore and scaling up pan India. Right now, we're collaborating in building the product with a software company and to enhance it. And we'll be our financial short will be go back. Yeah. And this will be our financial will be cash positive from the second year. And by the 5th year, we'll be generating 98 crores in the income data based on our assumptions. And this is our team, Bindu, and myself, Pradeep, and Lokesh Varan, who are having multiple MNC company experience over the past 8 years. And we are raising for the seed funding. And thank you for everyone for giving us an opportunity to present at the Thai Global event. And we'll explain the pitch in detail once anyone wants to go ahead.
Sure. Thanks, Pradeep. If you can go off screen. Can we have someone from Quizens? Is that right? Srishti. Do we have anyone from Quizens Labs?
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
On screen and then start.
Should I share my screen?
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Nothing is visible.
Yeah, I'm trying to just open up my presentation.
Maybe you can, maximize it.
Yeah, I'm maximizing it. I think it's a little slow. Is it visible?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can start, Srishti.
Yeah, I'll just start. A very good afternoon, everyone. I'm Srishti. I'm co-founder and CTO at Quizens Labs. And at Quizens Labs, we are transforming fresh food supply chain with data. So the problem that we are developing a huge range of artificial intelligence-based solutions relying on IoT sensors to build an end-to-end platform for fresh food management. To begin with founding team, the founding team is of two women founders, Rubal and myself, Srishti. Rubal has experience of about 8 years in building IoT products and manufacturing at scale for the IoT. She developed India's first smart bulb, IoTAD Cube 26, and was associated with Havells in their smart home range. While I come with a background in research and I have over 11 years of experience in research across multiple domains of biology and agri, with deep expertise in olfaction, which is the sense of smell. We have two advisors on board, Mr. Sriram Chilappa, who is an industry veteran with over 3 decades of experience in F&B supply chain, and Professor Shannon Olson, who helps us in technology development at NCBS Bangalore. So the problem that we are addressing is of highly inefficient fresh food supply chain, which bears a loss of about $14 billion for India alone. And globally, these losses are over $1 trillion to the global economy. And the major reason behind this is that 40% of the produce is lost post-harvest according to United Nations numbers. And what leads to this huge wastage? The biggest problem with this is that we don't know what is the quality of the produce. We don't know when someone is selling and buying the produce, they don't know the shelf life of the produce. They don't know when to sell what. So because all these decisions are generally have been taken by manual labors, and which leads to highly uncertain outputs because these manual decisions are not data driven. We are disrupting this process by bringing in data and transparency with a combination of unique technology of NIR spectroscopy and artificial olfaction, which is the sense of smell. We have a solution of our first products are solution of handheld scanning device and an olfactory logger, as you can see over here, combined with our ML AI analytics on the inventory dashboard. We have already filed 1 patent and we are drafting 2 more. Everything from software to hardware is done in-house, ensuring data security and privacy to the customer. We are achieving accuracy of about 95% compared to lab tests. So one technology is based on the principle of spectral sensing, while the other technology is based on the principle of smell, in which we are smelling the aroma of the produce. To look into the market, potential market, in India alone, we see a potential of about $2.5 billion for our market. India is the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables, and it's a huge potential to begin with, while globally our market is about $50 billion. We are currently selling to India's top fresh retail chains like Udaan, Reliance Fresh, Amazon Fresh, and an exporter of Kinnaur apples in Himachal. And in the pipeline, we have a lineup of amazing customers in the segment of fresh foods retail and aggregator space. We have been awarded by Government of India and backed by Reliance Geogenics program. We were awarded Emerging 50 Technologies in 2020 by NASSCOM, awarded BIREC BIG grant of up to 50 lakh by BIREC, DBT's BIREC. We were awarded Startup of the Year in the category of Agriculture in 2019 by NASSCOM and MITI. We are part of world's biggest hardware accelerator, HACS, and part of ISB's program STEC in collaboration with Government of Punjab. And we are also part of Lumis Supply Chain Labs. With this, I would like to end my pitch over here. We are currently doing fundraising and can discuss this more in the later if someone is interested. Yeah. Any questions? Should I stop or?
Yeah, sorry, we don't have any Q&A format, Srishti. You can stop sharing. Can I request Vasant, if he is there, from 3D Robotics? Vasant, are you there? Yeah, Vasant. Okay, go ahead, Vasant.
Hope I'm audible.
You're audible and your screen is yet to come up, but it's coming. Vasant, is it a video or something? It's still not coming.
Okay, so the slides are opening, I believe. So we are a precision agriculture, service company, which provides farm gate crop care services across India at affordable cost.
Vasant, nothing is visible, at least to me. Can you stop and then again reshare the screen? Yeah, share it again, please. Nothing is coming.
Right, I'm just trying.
Sure. Yeah, I think it is fine now. Yeah. Can you start quickly, please? Yeah, okay, fine, Vasant. I think all please go ahead.
Right, by covering 4 to 6 minutes an acre, saving around 90% water and 60% chemical per acre, per spray, and per farmer. So we take technology to the farm field at an affordable cost. So enabling farmers to produce healthier food we eat. That is why we are doing it. On time, crop health monitoring, and precise spray. That is how we're going to do it. And what is it all about is taking technology and the skilled labor at the fraction of cost, with the drones and data at the farm gate. Last 3 years, we have been worked on different crops, have modified our technology and the service offering based on the crop and the farm need. From price sensitive crops to high terrain crops, and the time sensitive crops, as well as difficult tall trees and mangoes and things like that. So the market is so huge that 15 crore acres sown annually in India, and even if we have 4,000 agri taluks covered by one player, around 2 lakh acres, and there will be still a requirement of 4 more teams. So we started with around 73,000 rupees first year, and by 2019, the third year, we were closing around 53 lakh revenues. So this year has been a kind of pause because 2 of our grant and aid money has been delayed because of the COVID-19, which resulted in service refunds and things like that. But again, this is going to settle down, and as we move forward, we're going to create rural operating partners by hiring much of these agriculture graduates rather than they going to cities for search of jobs. So we need to raise 5 CR to create 40 teams to be in the game this year. So if we raise 8 CR, 100 plus teams, so we can not only fight the market in the price, but also create a good revenue. So yes, our first year capex would be a little high because these are the equipment cost and the capex. But again, it substitutes going further, because these systems can be utilized for 4 to 5 years. And this is basically, these numbers are based on 7 years of our field experience rather than just from the calculation and calculators and Excel sheet. So every great startup have got a story. So we too, our team has been worked tremendously for the last 7 years with multiple hurdles like government policy and delay in implementation, and it has shown the tremendous amount of dedication and perseverance on the trials and errors, and unmatched struggle and chivalry to stay afloat. So we seek your guidance and support and partnership to survive, only to thrive. And thank you for gift of your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Vasant. Now, can we have Ankur Jain from Udyogantra?
Yes. Yeah. Are you able to hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Srinivasu, for this opportunity. I will start sharing my screen now.
Sure.
Is the presentation visible in the full screen mode?
It's visible. You can go on presentation mode and start, please.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are trying to solve the problem of authentication of quality, quantity, and traceability in the distributed food and agri supply chain. This we do that by a patent pending Industry 4.0 platform, which is the integrated AI plus IoT platform. I am Ankur Jain, founder and CEO of Udyogantra Technologies, and let me explain the problems we are trying to solve with this authentication approach. So I think cloud kitchens are disrupting the online food delivery, and the delivery market is expected to grow at a very fast rate, upwards of double digits. And it's a huge market. It's a multi-billion-dollar market. What is interesting is the eat-at-home market is also evolving. So the cook at home is getting replaced by order from outside. And the customers are really concerned about quality, quantity, and traceability when you look at eat at home and replacing the dine-in experience by eat at home. So COVID has just accelerated the transition. We already see a lot of people doing this, but the real acceleration that has happened is in the last 1 year where COVID has impacted the need of digitization in this chain. As we understand, the chain is not digitized, and that's one of the problem statements that we're trying to solve. Another illustrative expense of where the problem applies is the social delivery supply chain. So let's take midday meals for example. It addresses the problem of child nutrition, and it's a huge problem not only in India and but globally. It has huge implications on child health and growth, and it is one of the largest schemes implemented by the Indian government, and there are ways and means currently which are completely manual, which need to be digitized to authenticate what is the quality and the quantity of the meals and the nutrition being delivered to the last mile. The third thing is the agri supply chain. Obviously, the authentication of quality and integrating the supply chain is a critical problem to be solved. Our motivation is this alignment to the UN goals, which help us achieve this. The solutions, very quickly, these are integrated IoT AI solutions which authenticate the food quality and integrate with the complete supply chain. So from the time when the food enters a cloud kitchen to the time it leaves, there are consistent AI and IoT-based cloud checks which take care of the complete digitization tracking. So you can trace the quality of ingredients that went into a food and then all the way relate to the customer. Similarly, we have for the second use case, the midday meals and the child nutrition program. So you want to authenticate what is the quality and the quantity of the meals that are provided and how does it impact the child nutrition. So again, an integrated device which captures all this and adds AI. The third thing which is in works is we are jointly doing it with Rastar and Bayrek funding is authentication platform for agri trading where it authenticates the commodities quality, quantity, and traceability, and then enables a real-time transaction. So I think our journey has been a short and a fast one. We have been able to get some good pilots and deployments across multiple use cases. And we are right now working with the big four in the food delivery and cloud kitchens in India. We are engaged with 2 state governments for midday meal deployments. And interestingly, AIMS is also interested to authenticate the nutrient levels being given to the children. Our customers are already using it in our operations. And I think the pilots with large scale operations are also at advanced stage. The market is humongous. The food market is mapped out to be $20 billion plus globally, and agri and commodities in works. Few recognitions.
We have another minute, so please.
Yeah. Accelerated at the Center of Excellence, IoT Excellence at NASSCOM. We have got recognition it to be a certified device for global deployment by Intel, national finalist at National Startup Awards, and few recognitions from a Ministry of Education on the impact it can have on child nutrition and agri trading. So the revenue models are specific with respect to the customer's need, and this can be discussed in detail. The team is cross-domain across multiple technologies. Again, this can be discussed in detail. And we plan to raise a seed round of $1 million to be used for next 2 funds to expand to international geographies predominantly. With that, I end my presentation. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, Ankur. That's great. So we have come to the last presentation. I hope we have Praveen from vKirana.
Yes, I'm there. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Cool. I'll just share my presentation. Is it visible?
It's coming up. Yeah, all good.
Cool.
Go ahead, Praveen.
Good afternoon, all. Praveen here from vKirana. Thanks a lot for taking out the time. vKirana is a B2B. So we are basically online wholesaler of groceries, and we're discussing how the kirana owners do the procurement using the technology and the data analytics. And using the data analytics based on the consumption, we plan to push the production for the farm production, optimize and push the farm production. So basically, if you think about it, right now, if you need anything, you just go online and buy something. It has become so easy with the technology and the developments coming in. But have you ever thought how your nearby kirana owners do the procurement? Like every kirana owner, if they have to buy something, I'm talking specifically about staples, if they have to procure something, be it Mumbai, Nagpur, Bhilai, or any small town across all over India, they have to go to the nearest agri-produce market, the APMC markets, visit multiple wholesalers, do the price comparison, get a transporter, negotiate the price, load the products, and get it to his store, like in his village or maybe his town. And there are 11 million kirana owners in India who has to go through the same thing. FMCG market is a huge market. And
Praveen, your voice is going down. Maybe you have to speak a bit up.
Okay, just is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry for the inconvenience. So there are 12 million kirana store owners who has to go through the same pain all across India, and that's where we come in. So through the V-Kirana app, the kirana stores can connect to the nearby mandi, wherever it is, like in their own town or the nearby town, connect to them, get the good prices, like the good suppliers who are giving the best prices, order whatever amount they want. They don't have to block their capital. They can order even 1 bag, 2 bag, and get it delivered to their place at a very transparent pricing. It like whatever problems they have for the procurement, they just get solved through the V-Kirana app. And how do we do it? We are basically an aggregator, and we using the V-Kirana platform, we connect the wholesalers. We use their space, because already there is a lot of infrastructure there, like in terms of warehousing and transportation, and we get the transporters on the app, and using their resources, we get it delivered to the kirana stores. Coming to the traction, yes, we started just before the COVID started, and we're almost 1 year old. And currently, we're based in Nagpur, and like the pilots and all the trials have been going in Nagpur, and we have 400 plus stores who have signed up offline with us, whom we're serving. And there are 1,000 plus customers on the online and on the Google Play Store who have shown interest, and like we're getting orders from all across the country. And we've crossed 1 crore INR 1 crore in revenue till date, and we're expecting an annualized revenue of 3 crores for the December month. As you already know, as most of you would already know, FMCG market is a very huge market. It's in 2018, according to reports, it was $53 billion. And going in 2021, it was supposed to cross $100 billion. And who are our competitors? Yes, we are not alone in this market. This market got super hot with the coming in of Reliance Jio. But what puts us apart from all the competitors is we are super asset light. We don't hold huge inventories. We don't hold huge warehouses. Neither do we hold huge transportation network. And we are very agile for going into another city, another city, another city, another city. It's just copy paste without huge investments needed. And how do we make money? We make money on the
last 1 minute, Praveen.
Yes, we make money on the cost of goods sold, delivery charge, and the credit charges, which is very, very important for the kirana owners. And what is our team? We are basically a team of 5 founders who came together to get this company, combined experience of 40 plus years from different fields. And amount that we're raising, we are raising $500K, which is approximately 3 to 3.5 crores. And 80% would go into the tech and expansion, and 20% towards piloting the project for towards the working capital needed. And with that money, we plan to go into 2 more cities and then nearby areas, and to start the expansion path. That's all from my side. Thanks a lot for your time. I'm Praveen, and here are my contact details. Would love to get in touch with whoever is interested.
Sure. Thanks. Thanks a lot, Praveen. If you can stop sharing the screen. Great. So we have presented 15 companies out of 16. I think only one could not come in. In fact, I sincerely thank our investor partners who have been here. Unfortunately, the format did not allow us to ask any Q&A or get a bite from you. We apologize for that. Just because there is too much to be covered in 3 days event, so we couldn't do it. Before I end, I request all the investors to please give us the feedback about these companies that you have shortlisted. And if not immediately, maybe after an hour, you will have the feedback provision enabled. The way to give the feedback is to log into the same system that you logged into shortlist these companies. And when you go into the panel and say your selected companies list, you will have the same companies appearing there. And when you click on the company, you will see a feedback button. That feedback button will let you give, different choices around what you want to do with this, selected company next. Either you want to talk to them more, you want to have another one-on-one meeting, or you want to, probably regret, whatever. And with an ability to give feedback, all of that is there. So I request sincerely to, fill these information as soon as possible, because I know many of you are in the other panels as well. So kindly for food and agri, if you can finish it by evening, we'll deeply appreciate that. And if you have any trouble, kindly write us or call us back. We'll be happy to help. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this very crisp session on presenting as much as possible. I'm so happy to see such a variety of startups presenting on this platform. And we will be talking to all of you again. Thank you very much, and we will end this session now.